now to some recall alerts that we wanted to let you know about. Several popular brands of dry shampoo being recalled because of a potential cancer risk.
And a sausage maker recalling tons of meat you may have in your freezer right now. 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz explains the dangers.
The bottle in your shower right now. The one you chose because the packaging looked clean. A dermatologist was quoted on the label, or it was listed in a best shampoos article. Sulfates, silicones, preservatives, and synthetic fragrance often dominate formulas, prioritizing lather, scent, and feel over long-term scalp health. Most shampoos are designed to create an experience, not protect. Today, we are talking about the 10 brands that actually do what they claim. 10 brands with clean ingredient profiles, third-party certifications, or clinical backing. 10 brands built on what's inside the bottle, not the story around it. Let's get into it. Number 10. Free and Clear Shampoo. Where most shampoo brands compete on fragrance, lather, shine, and lifestyle narrative, this one competes on a single principle. It contains none of the ingredients most likely to cause scalp and hair damage. Pharmos Nanotech developed Free and Clear specifically for people with sensitive skin, chemical allergies, and chronic scalp conditions. The formula is fragrance-free, dye-free, paraben-free, and gluten-free. The primary surfactant is ammonium lauryl sulfate rather than sodium lauryl sulfate. That distinction matters. Ammonium lauryl sulfate has a meaningfully lower irritation profile than SLS, which is aggressive enough that dermatologists use it as a positive control in patch tests, meaning it is the ingredient scientists apply when they need to deliberately irritate skin to measure a reaction. Free and Clear does not smell like anything. It does not lather dramatically. It does not leave your hair feeling coated and smooth the moment you rinse. That absence is the point. Those sensations in conventional shampoos come from fragrance compounds, silicone deposits, and surfactant levels engineered for immediate experience rather than long-term scalp health. Dermatologists and allergists recommend Free and Clear for patients managing psoriasis, seborrheic dermatitis, eczema, and contact dermatitis. It is the clinical answer to what shampoo looks like when every formula decision is made without a marketing team in the room. Around $12 to $14 for 12 ounces at CVS, Walgreens, and online. No fragrance. No silicones, no dye, no story. Just a clean formula that does not damage what it touches. You think this is the cleanest it gets. But next on the list is what happens when the same clinical logic gets pushed into everyday pharmacy shelves. Number 9. Vanicream Free and Clear. Shampoo pharmaceutical-grade skincare philosophy applied directly to hair care. Vanicream is the brand dermatologists reach for when a patient presents with chronic skin sensitivities and needs a guarantee that the product is free from the ingredients most associated with dermatological reaction. The Vanicream Free and Clear Shampoo contains no dyes, no fragrance, no masking fragrance, no lanolin, no parabens, no formaldehyde releases, and no gluten. The surfactant system uses sodium lauryl sulfate at concentrations low enough to be considered genuinely gentle while still delivering effective cleansing. The formula has been independently tested in dermatological settings and consistently supported for use on compromised or sensitive scalp skin. The brand is not luxury. The packaging is clinical and unadorned. There is no lifestyle being sold alongside the formula. Vanicream built its audience through dermatology offices, not through influencer campaigns, because the people who found it were sent there by doctors who needed a product they could vouch for. That is the most honest marketing a shampoo brand can have. Around $10 to $13 for 12 ounces at Walmart, Target, and pharmacy chains nationwide. If the shampoo industry were held to pharmaceutical skincare standards, this is closer to what the baseline product would look like. But here's the twist. Clinical isn't the final answer. The next shampoo shows what happens when clean moves from hospitals into certification systems and consumer demand. Number 8. Acure Organics. Where drugstore brands claim natural positioning through fruit imagery while delivering sodium lauryl sulfate and formaldehyde-releasing preservatives, Acure earns the natural claim through the actual formula rather than the packaging design. Acure is a certified B Corporation. B Corp certification is not a marketing badge a company buys. It requires verified, audited social and environmental performance standards across business operations, including supply chain responsibility and environmental impact tracking. The Acure Curiously Clarifying Shampoo uses sodium methyl cocoyl taurate as its primary surfactant, a coconut-derived cleanser significantly gentler than SLS, and not associated with the irritation or contamination concerns linked to SLES. The formula contains no sulfates of the SLS or SLES variety, no parabens, no silicones, no phthalates, no formaldehyde releases, and no synthetic fragrance. The natural fragrance compounds present are derived from essential oils and are individually disclosed rather than hidden behind the single-word fragrance on the label. And if you're following along, this is where you should pause and actually check your own shampoo label, because this is usually where the gap between perception and formulation becomes obvious. Acure holds independent PETA certification as vegan and cruelty-free. That certification involves third-party verification, not self-declaration. The brand has maintained consistent clean formulation standards across its range without the acquisition followed by formula change pattern that undermined so many independent beauty brands in the last decade. Around $9 to $12 for 12 ounces at Target, Whole Foods, and online. Certified, verified, audited. This is what natural positioned hair care looks like when the claim has to survive a real inspection. Before you move on, compare this label logic with what's in your current shampoo, not the marketing front, but the surfactants and fragrance listing on the back. That single comparison is usually where perception shifts. And yet, certification still isn't the deepest level of formulation. Number 7 goes further into how shampoo starts interacting with your actual scalp biology. Number 7. Puracy Natural Shampoo. Most clean beauty brands solve the sulfate problem and stop there. Puracy went further and built its formula around biocompatibility, meaning ingredients selected not just for what they avoid, but for how they interact with the scalp's own biological systems. That shift changes the entire logic of formulation from less harmful to functionally aligned with skin biology. Puracy was founded in Austin, Texas, by 2 entrepreneurs who began researching non-toxic household and personal care formulations after the birth of a child. The natural shampoo uses sodium glucoside and decyl glucoside as its primary surfactant system, both plant-derived, both biodegradable, and both rated as low hazard by the Environmental Working Group. These are gentle cleansing agents that remove oil and buildup without aggressively stripping the scalp's protective lipids the way harsher detergents often do. The formula is free from sulfates, parabens, silicones, synthetic fragrances, dyes, phthalates, and formaldehyde releases. The ingredients are EWG verified, which means the Environmental Working Group has reviewed every ingredient in the formula against their database of health and safety research and confirmed all are within acceptable safety parameters. That verification is not available to brands that pay a fee. It requires formula transparency and ingredient-level documentation, which is why many conventional brands avoid it entirely. This also creates a traceable ingredient footprint, allowing consumers to evaluate risk not through branding claims, but through independently assessed data. Puracy's formula pH is calibrated to match the scalp's natural acid mantle, typically between 4.5 and 5.5, which means it cleanses without disrupting the protective barrier that keeps scalp microbiome balance intact. Most conventional shampoos are alkaline, which disrupts that barrier and triggers the sebum overproduction cycle that keeps people washing daily. In other words, the goal isn't just to clean hair after a wash, it's reducing the need for correctional washing in the first place. Around $14 to $16 for 16 ounces at Target, Amazon, and Puracy.com, built for scalp biology rather than against it. But even biology-focused formulas still start from a universal assumption. They're for adults. The next shampoo breaks that assumption completely. Number 6. Pipette Shampoo. Most clean shampoo brands are built for adults with adult scalp concerns. Pipette was built from the ground up for the most sensitive possible skin, which means the formula standards exceed what most adult-focused clean brands even attempt. Pipette launched in 2019 under Shiseido's Clean Beauty umbrella, with a specific mandate to create baby and child personal care products that met the most rigorous ingredient safety standards available. The Pipette Baby Shampoo and Wash uses squalane as a key ingredient. Squalane is a plant-derived lipid that mimics the scalp's natural sebum composition and supports the moisture barrier rather than stripping it. This matters because infant skin has a thinner stratum corneum, and a more vulnerable lipid layer, meaning every surfactant choice has to minimize barrier disruption while still maintaining cleansing efficacy. The surfactant system uses sodium cocoamphoacetate, an amphoteric surfactant derived from coconut oil that generates gentle cleansing action without the alkaline disruption associated with conventional surfactants. The formula is free from sulfates, parabens, formaldehyde releases, phthalates, synthetic fragrance, dyes, and mineral oil. It is also dermatologically tested for tear-free use, which reflects a lower irritation threshold in ocular and skin sensitivity testing protocols, not just marketing language. Here is why this belongs on an adult list. The scalp sensitivity, barrier disruption, and ingredient absorption concerns that make these ingredients problematic for infants are the same mechanisms operating in adult scalp skin. The only difference is degree of tolerance, not mechanism. A compromised adult scalp, whether through dandruff, dermatitis, or overstripping from harsh surfactants, responds through the same inflammatory and compensatory pathways seen in infant skin, just at a slower and less visible rate. A formula safe enough for a newborn scalp is a formula doing the least possible damage to an adult scalp. The difference is that adults were told they needed something more powerful. That need was manufactured, not biological. Around $9 to $12 for 11 ounces at Target, Walmart, and PipetteBaby.com. Built for the most sensitive skin. That standard protects every scalp, not just the youngest ones. And just when you think gentle is the peak, number 5 introduces a completely different idea. Not just avoiding damage, but actively repairing the scalp environment. Number 5, Briogeo Scalp Revival. Where conventional shampoos sold you the appearance of a healthy scalp, Briogeo built a product around the actual biological mechanisms of how a scalp becomes and stays healthy. Nancy Twine founded Briogeo in 2013 after her grandmother passed down a family tradition of making natural hair and body treatments from whole ingredients. Twine, a former Goldman Sachs analyst, applied rigorous ingredient research to the formulation process and built a brand committed to what she called 6 free formulations, meaning free from sulfates, silicones, parabens, phthalates, artificial dyes, and synthetic fragrance. That framework wasn't just a marketing line. It became a constraint system for formulation decisions, forcing every product to be built around performance ingredients rather than masking agents. The Scalp Revival, charcoal and coconut oil. Micro-exfoliating shampoo uses binchotan charcoal to lift product buildup and environmental debris from the scalp without mechanical abrasion. Peppermint and tea tree oil provide antimicrobial activity against the yeast populations associated with dandruff and seborrheic dermatitis, while also creating a cooling sensory effect that signals activation without relying on harsh stripping agents. The surfactant system is sulfate-free and silicone-free, allowing the scalp to normalize its sebum production rather than cycling through the strip and overcompensate pattern created by SLS formulas. Independent reviews across Sephora, Ulta, and fragrance and beauty community forums consistently document improvement in scalp condition, reduced flaking, and improved hair density over sustained use. These are not sponsored reviews. They are the organic responses of buyers who noticed a result. It is also worth noting that Briogeo was acquired by Weller Company in 2022, a shift that places future formulation decisions under a larger corporate structure, even if the current formulas remain intact. Around $42 to $45 for 9 ounces at Sephora, Ulta, and Briogeo.com. A Black-founded brand with a genuine scalp health philosophy and a formula that performs against independent scrutiny. The acquisition is worth watching. The current formula earns its place, because once you start thinking in terms of repair, the next question becomes unavoidable. What happens when the entire system is designed to align with your biology from the start? That's where number 4 goes. Number 4. Innersense Organic Beauty. Where the brands that dominate your shower aisle built dependency cycles through silicone coating and sulfate stripping, Innersense built a system designed to work with the scalp's own biology rather than override it. Greg and Joanne Starkman founded Innersense Organic Beauty in 2005 with backgrounds in professional salon education. 2 decades later, the brand is certified organic by the USDA, certified by the Environmental Working Group, a certified B Corporation, and certified cruelty-free by Leaping Bunny. That is 4 independent third-party certifications, not 4 marketing claims. 4 audited verifications with specific documented criteria, ingredient review processes, and renewal requirements that force ongoing compliance rather than one-time approval. What this certification density signals is not just clean formulation, but institutional accountability across multiple layers of verification. USDA organic certification alone requires strict agricultural sourcing rules for botanical inputs, while EWG verification evaluates ingredient safety against publicly available toxicology data. B Corp certification extends beyond the formula itself into governance, labor practices, and environmental impact. Leaping Bunny closes the loop on animal testing standards. Together, they form a system where claims must survive outside validation, not internal branding. The Pure Harmony hair bath uses sodium cocoyl glutamate as its primary surfactant, an amino acid-derived cleanser that maintains the scalp's natural pH range during washing, does not strip the sebum barrier, and does not trigger the compensatory oil overproduction that keeps SLS users locked into daily washing cycles. Instead of forcing the hair fiber into temporary smoothness, the formula supports the scalp environment so the hair can retain its own moisture balance after rinsing. The formula contains certified organic chamomile, calendula, and rosemary extract alongside a complete absence of sulfates, silicones, parabens, synthetic fragrance, phthalates, and formaldehyde releases. The brand has remained independently owned for 20 years. No acquisition of research, no conglomerate on the balance sheet quietly adjusting the formula in the direction of margin. The price has not climbed 50% in 6 years. That kind of consistency matters because in beauty, ownership often quietly determines formulation over time. 20 years of independent ownership is not a common thing in the beauty industry. It means every formula decision for 20 years was made by people whose only accountability was to the product, not to a quarterly earnings report. Around $26 to $30 for 10 ounces at Whole Foods, Credo Beauty, and InnersenseOrganicBeauty.com. 4 certifications. 20 years independent. A formula designed to normalize scalp biology. This is the standard the whole industry should be held to. And once you see a full system like this, you start wondering, what if the ingredient itself is doing the heavy lifting? The next one is where that idea becomes real. Number 3. Rahua Classic Shampoo. Most clean beauty brands work hard to avoid harmful ingredients. Rahua went one step further and built its formula around an ingredient so rare and so effective that the Amazon rainforest communities who discovered it have used it for generations. Rahua was co-founded by Fabian Liguin, an Ecuadorian hairdresser, and Ana Ayers, after Liguin spent time with Quechua Shuar communities in the Amazon and observed the remarkable condition of hair among people who used Rahua oil pressed from the Ungarahua nut as a primary hair treatment. He brought the ingredient to New York, formulated a shampoo around it, and built a supply chain that pays the Amazon community's fair trade rates and funds rainforest conservation directly. What makes this approach structurally different from conventional clean beauty is that the ingredient is not extracted, repackaged, and decontextualized. The sourcing model is tied to preservation, meaning the economic incentive is aligned with keeping the rainforest intact rather than over-harvesting it. That connection between product demand and ecological protection becomes part of the brand's operating system, not just its storytelling. The Rahua oil molecule is small enough to penetrate the hair shaft rather than coating it the way silicones do. It repairs from inside the strand, not on top of it. The formula combines Rahua oil with Palo Santo, Moretti oil, and quinoa protein in a surfactant system derived entirely from plants and free from sulfates, silicones, parabens, synthetic fragrance, and petroleum derivatives. These botanical actives are chosen not for aesthetic branding, but for functional roles in strengthening elasticity, reducing breakage, and improving moisture retention at the cuticle level. The Environmental Working Group rates Rahua Classic Shampoo with their highest safety score. Independent beauty editors and clean beauty reviewers consistently list it among the top-performing clean shampoos for damaged and chemically treated hair. The supply chain funds the communities that share the ingredient. The rainforest stays standing because the brand needs it to. Around $34 to $36 for 9 1/3 ounces at Sephora, Net-a-Porter, and Rahua.com. An indigenous ingredient, a fair trade supply chain, a formula that repairs rather than coats. This is what the industry looks like when the founder went to the source instead of to a fragrance house. At this point, the question shifts from what's in the bottle to whose culture and ingredients shaped it. The next one we will be talking about takes that thread and makes it personal. Number 2. Ceremonia. The clean beauty conversation has historically centered on one hair type. Ceremonia was built to center another, Baba Rivera founded Ceremonia in 2020, drawing on her Swedish Latinx heritage and a frustration that Latinx hair traditions, ingredients, and beauty rituals were consistently absent from the premium clean beauty space. The brand launched with a core ingredient that has been used across Latin America for centuries: aceite de mosca, extracted from the seeds of the Ricinus communis plant and used in Caribbean and Central American hair traditions for scalp nourishment and follicle strengthening. What made this launch different was not just the ingredient itself, but the decision to build a modern formulation system around ancestral knowledge rather than retrofitting heritage into a Western clean beauty framework. Ceremonia positioned itself as both a performance brand and a cultural restoration project, where ingredients weren't chosen for trend appeal, but for historical continuity and functional use in real hair routines passed down through generations. The aceite de mosca glossy hair oil and the guava leave-in conditioner launched alongside the flagship Papaya Scalp Scrub Shampoo, which uses papayan, a proteolytic enzyme derived from papaya, to gently dissolve protein and product buildup on the scalp without mechanical abrasion or harsh chemical stripping. The surfactant system is sulfate-free, using cocomedu propyl betaine and sodium lauryl methyl isethionate, both of which clean effectively without disrupting the acid mantle. The full formula across Ceremonia's range is free from sulfates, silicones, parabens, synthetic fragrances, phthalates, formaldehyde releases, and mineral oil. The brand is independently owned and has not undergone a conglomerate acquisition. The brand went viral organically through the Latinx beauty community and has grown without a celebrity campaign or a conglomerate distribution network. Word of mouth built on a product that delivers a result is still the most reliable marketing signal in beauty. Around $28 to $32 for 8 ounces at Sephora and Ceremonia.com. A founder who built the brand her community was missing: an indigenous ingredient used for centuries, a clean formula that delivers results without the chemicals that were never supposed to be there. And then everything collapses into one final question: what happens when shampoo is designed around the ecosystem of your scalp itself? Number 1 answers that and rewrites the whole list. Number 1. Primary botanicals. Every brand on this list avoids harmful ingredients. This one went back to first principles and asked a question the rest of the industry has not seriously answered. What does a shampoo formula look like if you build it around the scalp microbiome rather than around consumer experience expectations? Primary Botanicals was founded by a team of cosmetic biochemists who had spent careers in conventional formulation and became increasingly unable to reconcile what the research said about long-term scalp health with what the market rewarded in short-term consumer experience. The brand launched with a microbiome-first formulation philosophy, meaning every ingredient is evaluated not just for its individual safety profile, but for its effect on the scalp's microbial ecosystem, the community of bacteria and fungi that regulate sebum balance, scalp barrier integrity, and inflammatory response. The balancing shampoo uses lactobacillus ferment as a prebiotic agent to support the growth of beneficial scalp bacteria. The surfactant system combines sodium cocoyl, isethionate, and sodium lauryl oat amino acids, both of which cleanse within the scalp's natural pH range without disrupting the acid mantle. Postbiotic extracts derived from fermented botanicals provide antimicrobial activity against dysbiotic organisms without the broad-spectrum bacterial disruption associated with conventional antimicrobial ingredients. The formula contains 0 sulfates, 0 silicones, 0 parabens, 0 synthetic fragrance, 0 phthalates, 0 formaldehyde releases, and 0 petroleum derivatives. The pH is tested batch by batch to confirm it falls within the 4.5 to 5.0 range, optimal for scalp microbiome balance. Every ingredient is individually disclosed with sourcing documentation available on request. The brand is independently owned. The founding team publishes the research that informed each formula decision on their website, citing peer-reviewed papers rather than marketing claims. Around $30 to $35 for 10 ounces at select independent clean beauty retailers and primarybotanicals.com, built by scientists who understood the research and could not keep ignoring it. A formula designed around how a scalp actually works. Every ingredient disclosed. Every decision is documented. No conglomerate on the balance sheet. This is what shampoo looks like when the only question anyone in the room is asking is what is actually good for the scalp. Pick up the shampoo in your shower right now. Turn it around. Find the ingredient list. Search the first ingredient listed alongside the words scalp irritation or EU restriction. Then search the preservative alongside the words formaldehyde releaser. Then search the fragrance entry alongside the words undisclosed compounds or endocrine disruption. That is 3 searches on the product you are putting on your scalp every day. The results will tell you everything the front of the bottle was designed to prevent you from finding. The EU did not restrict over 1,000 cosmetic ingredients without a reason. The reason was evidence. The FDA has restricted 11 of those same ingredients. The gap between those two numbers is not a difference in scientific philosophy. It is a lobbying outcome that you and your scalp have been living inside without being told. You were never supposed to read the back of the bottle. The front was designed to make reading the back feel unnecessary. The dramatic lather, the instant smoothness, the fragrance that stays on your hair for hours, all of it was engineered to create trust in an experience rather than accountability to a result. 10 brands exist that have chosen differently. They are more expensive than what sits in your drugstore aisle. Some of them are significantly more expensive, but none of them are building your dependency into the formula. None of them are engineering a problem into the bottle, so you will keep buying the solution. If someone you know is still buying a shampoo because the packaging communicated natural or professional or dermatologist approved without reading what is actually inside it, send this to them. The system is not broken. It is working exactly the way it was built to work. You just were not supposed to find out who designed it. If this list of good shampoos gave you value, like, share, and subscribe for more. And click on the next video, where we'll keep revealing more products that actually deserve your money, so you're not wasting it on marketing instead of results. Stay sharp. Read those labels. Keep rising.